So good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today here. We are at the end of a long journey, and we want to not talk about the bad things about COVID and the entire situation which has been created, but the many positives. But first, I want to briefly touch on two basic aspects. The global wellness economy is a huge economy. It's a $4.5 trillion industry. It has grown dramatically fast over the last few years, and it generates over 5% of global GDP. And if you look at what the wellness economy has done, then you will find similarities to the technology industry, which has grown dramatically. And if you look on the far left side of the slide, you can see what happened between 2008 and 2010, and any industry which is doubling in the worst economic crisis we had prior to COVID is for sure a very resilient industry. Therefore, I'm sure that the present situation will only further grow the industry at large. What of course has happened, the clientele we all have is very sensitized right now. There's a lot of anxieties out there, but there's also a huge pent-up demand there. And if it comes to wellness, there is a great to understand more about wellness, because everybody knows if you're very fit, if you were very healthy, if your immune system was very strong, you did much easier with a potential infection than without that. Therefore, it is for us as hosts, as somebody who reads people, as somebody who welcomes people, it is very, very important that we are very sensitive with our clients, that we understand their anxieties, and that we work with their respective anxieties. While hotel schools have not taught us much about the health and wellness subjects, we right now, given the growth of the industry at large and given what has happened over the last 6 months, need to understand a couple of key parameters next to the anxiety and next to the desire to travel as soon as one can. A couple of things will change. One of the changes in the countries which are already in the back curve of the initial pandemic is that there is less flying, but much more closer, more visitation to resorts and environments which are perhaps not a 15-hour flight away. And only the locations which clearly demonstrated that they look after the health and well-being and are doing all the sanitary requirements needed to feel confident are the ones who really did very well there. A country like India has a huge amount of rituals, has a huge amount of fantastic food. It has a lot of healing modalities, and therefore in the respective locations, it is paramount important that we do what is right in terms of clinical situation, but also that we do the right thing in choosing modalities which people are familiar with. And I want to share a couple of them here with you, a little bit like a checklist in order to talk about what one potentially can do. So in many hotels and resorts, you get a welcome drink, and often it's sugar water. There is very easily fantastic vitamin juices or health-enhancing juices available. And then what we need to do is communicating. Communicating is very important because the hygiene protocols are of great interest to clients, and they want to know and they want to be told what you're doing about it. Every hotel chain came up with very good protocols there, but also in the individual hotels, in the non-branded hotels, which there's plenty in India. We want to ensure that the entire protocols are well communicated in order to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Some hotels have opted to employ wellness concierges, simply people who look after clients who have lots of questions in that realm. For a more practical application, a strong immunity, we know, is a strong resilience against any kinds of illness, and therefore it's a strong health. Very simple things like vitamin C's and D's are very easily incorporated and identified in any menu which we put out there. And then things like, the sleep quality is very important, because a well-rested body is very important to combat potential COVID infection, and therefore to stay healthy, to be hydrated, to have circadian lighting are some of those very simple and very important aspects we all want to consider. Here's a couple of other things which easily can be implemented in the new build, but also in the retrofit. There are the turn down can come with fresh lemon, honey, turmeric coming from God's own country, India. That would be for sure a well received amenity. Immune boosting vitamin shots can be offered throughout. They cost very little, but they have a big impact. And alkaline balancing water is something so simple as well to provide, and people will appreciate that. And if you can explain to them that helps them to overcome immune inefficiencies, they will be even more excited to learn about it. Spas are of course there to take care of your own well-being, and many people don't know that things like mineral water, this means mineral spring water, saunas and steam baths, chlorine pools are actually killing the virus. So make sure, for example, go to Professor Cohn's website, Professor Mark Cohn. He has entire academically founded information which demonstrates how sauna, mind and body experiences, mineral water and related can help. Other elements in many spas is to offer vitamin-infused treatments, offer pulmonary function tests, which document how well your lungs are doing, and with that take the anxiety and give confidence in people that they're healthy and that they're fit. Lung purifying steam therapy, chlorophyll body wraps, and a daily dose of fitness will all help to combat an immune inefficiency and helps people to feel better. And if you communicate this well, if you share with your clients what this will mean to them and what they can do with that and how they strengthen the immune system, it will be very, very well received. So the sense of well-being and the sense of how important health is. Health is our really true wealth, as we all know. Not having health means really nothing. Our life is less exciting and less vital to live. Has a lot of different impacts in different parts of the world, and I want to share with you briefly 3 examples which are good examples which could be implemented in various hotels in India. And the first one is actually from Montage Laguna Beach Hotel. Montage is a company funded by the eBay founder. The first one was this one in Laguna Beach, and they partnered with One Medical. One Medical is a membership-based online platform where you can have direct access to advice from medical practitioners of many sorts, and who immediately, as part of the membership model, can diagnose you when you share with them what you have. It's a monthly prescription model, and you can do that at home, but you can also do this buying a membership for your hotel, and then you could offer this throughout your entire communication system, your interactive TVs and related. And you suddenly have doctors available from around the world for many, many specialties in each one of your guest rooms. So inexpensive, effective, and proven. Another one is what the Shah Wellness Clinic does. We managed the Shah Wellness Clinic, we brought it alive. And they, of course, went a little further. They have guest check-ups and check-ins prior to an arrival there. They have created an entire Harvard University approved medical scheme where they offer immune-enhancing retreats. Immunotherapy, lymphatic profile consultations are all part of the initial booking. And then while being there, there is various programs there which will help and support that one can clearly define SHA as an institution, as a destination wellness clinic, noted as one of the best in Europe, where you can do everything to ensure that your health is in robust shape in order to combat any problematic situations. We're working with Jean-Michel Gatti in right now, I think in Tokyo, in Bangkok, and I think in Saudi Arabia. Yes, I asked Jean-Michel what he thought about the various precautions. He, as one designer who works many months, 4 seasons, Mandarin Rentals, Six Senses, and so far. And what he shares here with us is very clear that there will be new surfaces. There are some surfaces in which diseases stick easier on, especially airborne diseases like COVID. There's others where it's an easy wipe and with the right material and it cleans it up. But then there's mechanical systems like pools and like air conditioning systems we need to look into in order to ensure that we are providing the kind of environment guests in the future will expect, and guests in the future will have a much higher sensitivity towards what is required in order to not potentially get a virus infection within the spa. I think the biggest project I know of is a 63 square kilometer triple bay facility in Saudi Arabia, where the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Fund, together with the top hotel chains in the world and the top hoteliers in the world, the top architects in the world, is creating a destination where the creation of transformative personal journeys, which are then inspired by art, culture, and wellness, and the purity of its setting, will become the main feature. It's a project where architects from Foster to Jean Nouvel, from Jean-Michel Gatti to Schweder, and many others will really create amazing environments, and where the Saudi government spends $16 billion in a very pristine environment, 63 square kilometer to bring this alive. And here's one example. This is the Marine Life Institute, which is right next to the wellness resort there. There's actually 3 wellness resorts coming together there, which my company is creating and supporting to establish them. And here we took the design of corals, turned them upside down in order to have a very beautiful biophilic design, which has reference to the underwater, which gets celebrated at this Marine Life Institute. And for the many participants who are in the earlier stages of their career, you can see here the board of Amala. And I share this because it is really dotted with some of the finest hoteliers around the world. Antoine, who was running 4 seasons, Barry Sternley, star with Capital, Ed Mady, who runs the Beverly Hills Hotel in Beverly Hills, Even Cui owns Pontiac Land and therefore the Capella Hotel Group, George Raphael, who started Amman Resorts Region Hotels, Horst Schulze, who started Capella Hotels and Ritz-Carlton Hotels, myself, and last but not least, the family Chief Executive Officer of Six Senses, Neil Jacobs, among some others. So in a nutshell, what do we need to do? We don't need to panic. We need to do the right things. We need to embrace the new circumstances. We need to communicate what we do in order to ensure that our client feel well catered to, that they know we know what is right, we know what is important, and that we have done all the precautions in order to ensure that they feel good about it. The wellness dollar will merge much more with the travel dollar than ever before, even though it was on a huge trajectory already over the last few years. And we need to make sure that when we create new hotels, incorporate the elements of design, development, MEP planning, which is important there. And when we have clients who have a lot of anxiety because of that, we need to show empathy in order to ensure that that they don't feel neglected and that they feel embraced and warm and taken care of. That's in a nutshell. So I'm happy now to take questions and look how I can help or support you with the tips you may ask for.